Hello, and welcome back to Jenna Gets Creative. Today's video is yet another ScrawlrBox unboxing. Yes, I know I've released a lot of subscription box videos in the past week, but I'm getting caught up. This is the last one I have to release, and then I'm caught up. Yay! This is the December ScrawlrBox, but I got it now in January. I'm recording this on the 22nd, and it arrived just last week. Very water damaged and soggy, but the supplies survived. The candy didn't, and it made everything sticky. I didn't eat it, but you know, it's okay. The supplies survived. And ScrawlrBox kindly offered to ship out a replacement if it hadn't arrived by the end of last week, but it did right at the last moment. So, yay! I noticed that with this Sharpie here, it's an ultra fine point Sharpie, which are not ultra fine. The fine point seems to be finer than the ultra fine. I've made this complete before, but I noticed that the one that came in the ScrawlrBox is a little bit thicker and also just more bold and juicy in general than the ones I already have that I bought here in Canada like 6 months ago. They're not old. I don't know, just saying. Time to read the supply card. Pilot Frixion Ball Medium. The original erasable pen from Pilot allows you to easily draw, erase, and draw again with the same pen. Use the special eraser tip to make the ink disappear like magic. The unique gel ink responds to the heat generated by the friction and lets you draw over it again instantly. The 0.7mm tip gives a 0.35mm medium line, great for loosely sketching out your artwork. It would be if it didn't smudge after. It smudges like crazy. But, you know, I think I remember using these in grade 4. For some reason they were required that year and then never again. Pilot Frixion Light Soft Erasable Highlighter. This is a 5-pack of nice highlighter colors. Pilot may have labeled these as highlighters, but they are much more. The colors in the set are subtle pastel shades, not as harsh as the standard highlighters. Plus, the Frixion erasable ink technology makes for some interesting art applications. The ink stays wetter for longer on the page, so you can create erasable gradients. Layering the translucent ink to get darker shades also works. Scrawler tip. Use the Frixion Ball for your sketches as they don't play well with pencil. I don't know, I found they played pretty well with pencil. Sharpie Fine Permanent Marker. The original and iconic permanent marker, the Sharpie Fine Point contains quick-drying, water-resistant ink that permanently marks most surfaces. The resilient tip resists abrasion, and the tough polypropylene barrel stands up to almost anything. That was the regular Sharpie. Sharpie Ultra Fine Permanent Marker, the ultra-fine version of the iconic Sharpie mentioned previously. The ultra-fine point contains the same quick-drying, water-resistant ink and sturdy barrel as its big brother, but with it you can achieve greater level of detail using the smaller nib. Scrawler tip. Do your line work before coloring, as this will smudge slightly when erasing on top of the Frixion ink. Pentel Paint Marker Extra Fine Point. The valve-controlled tip of the extra fine Pentel paint marker provides the ability to add small metallic details and highlights to your work. The aluminum barrel contains an opaque silver ink, which is also permanent once dry. Oh boy, easy ever. I'm gonna comment on that too. And last but not least, they included Norfolk cartridge paper 210 GSM. A classic cartridge paper suitable for most drawing techniques, and the study weight, I think they meant sturdy, meant it can withstand heavy erasing. It's acid-free, wood-free, and has white matte surface. Guys, your editing has definitely suffered recently. Anyway, I understand now why they included cartridge paper, even though it's generally not what you'd recommend for artwork, and it's because we're going to be scrubbing and erasing like crazy with these friction pens. The challenge is Pastel Petals. Now, these highlighters, they say that they're lighter, friendlier pastel shades. They're not. They're highlighter colors. Some of these shades are not in any way, shape, or form pastel. So, I did some of my line work in the Frixion ballpoint pen, and some of it in the fine Sharpie. Everything that was done in the Frixion pen smudged when I used the Frixion highlighters. And of course, like, trying to erase under it carefully. Oddly enough, they don't really react much to a regular eraser, so I was able to get rid of my pencil sketches underneath, but yeah, it was a mess. So after drawing all of my random little flowers everywhere, I filled in the background, mostly with the big Sharpie, did the tight parts with the fine point Sharpie, and then I'm going to go ahead and color all the flowers with the highlighters, and then my plan was to put silver centers in all of the tiny flowers with that Pentel paint pen. So, first off, this was a very tedious and stinky process, coloring with the Sharpies. I use Sharpies as labeling markers, and sometimes I'll use them for little details here and there when I'm going to use watercolor, because these things don't budge. But I don't do extensive pieces with Sharpies, so I'm not used to the smell of them. They stink. I do prefer them to that Frixion ballpoint pen, though. By the way, if you're new here, please do subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. I'd love to have you join the party. I'm going to be doing my official face reveal with the start of my face cam intros and outros in the first video I edit after we reach 250, so if we haven't done that yet, by the time I put this video out, you know, give me an early birthday gift. My birthday's February 2nd, and I'd like to reach that goal before then. Subscribe! Help me get to 250. And if we have, well, hey, the next goal is 500, right? So, either way, you can help me out. Subscribe. So here we go, we're coloring with those Frixion highlighters, and it's smudging on any of the Frixion ballpoint ink. It's visible on top of the Sharpie black ink, so you really have to carefully go in between all of the lines if you don't want that happening. But these nibs are not easy to work with. You can't really do a whole lot of fine coloring detail. When you're dragging the nib back over the ink it's laid down while it's still wet, it's picking it up, it's moving around, making streaks. Later on, I ended up just like giving up on trying to be careful and just doing just big strokes in sheets over the shape and not caring about getting the color over onto the black. And that was a lot less streaky, but of course it had a lot more color showing up on top of the black, which should not have been there. I was, however, impressed that I could go back in with another color and basically just layer over it, even if it shouldn't have been possible, like fixing the yellow centers after doing blue and purple and green. Shouldn't have worked, did. So, I don't know, am I gonna draw with these again? Maybe if I do a proper highlighter challenge. I'm gonna call this a highlighter challenge in the title, but it's not, because they're Frixion highlighters, they're different, so, you know, in the future I may pull out all of my highlighter gear and do a proper highlighter challenge. I'm interested to just test these as actual highlighters, see what they do with a printed book, see if it damages it at all. And here we go with that Pentel paint marker. As you can see, it likes to not work, and then give you a ton of paint all at once. And like it said, it's permanent. You can't pick that up once it's down. After I turned the camera off, before I took my pictures for the thumbnail, I ended up managing to cover most of that really big splotch by the yellow blossom with the Pentel brush pen, inked brush pen that we got in the Inktober themed box. But you know, it wasn't included in this box. Anyway, time for the end card. Thanks for watching! You made it to the end of the video! Don't forget to hit like, leave a comment, and if you haven't already, hit subscribe and ring that bell. I upload every Tuesday and Thursday, and I feature artists and crafters in my end card. Use the hashtag LookJennaYT. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye guys!